Hello, everyone. Hope you guys had a great week so far. Hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving the other day. Hope you guys are going to have a great weekend as well. So, we're going to go ahead and get started in just a few moments. So, today, based on the votes we got in our poll yesterday, today will actually be the letter C. Hey, Shay, how you doing? It's good to see you. Glad you dropped in. So based on your votes from yesterday, today is going to be the letter C. So let me go ahead and color this in. Color in our C. I'm just drawing a fox hashtag. Oh, cool. The one, our original character is like doing some fan art. So, to start off, hey, Isaac. Hey, glad you dropped in. Yeah, we just got started. So, since we're going to do in C today, I'm actually going to start off with the one actually you suggested last night from Carl Wheezer from Jimmy Neutron. So, I'm going to start doing him right here. So, let me draw the shape for his head. Draw the section where his nose is going to be. I'm drawing where his glasses are. So, I'm just starting really light. How's Thanksgiving? Yeah, my Thanksgiving went pretty good. You know what? Got to spend time with family. I had to go to 2 dinners, one on my mother's side and one on my dad's side. Something you have to do just about every year, but you know what? I had a wonderful time. So he has ears. Let me bring this down just a bit more around his lower part of his face. And of course, he's got his hair, his little curly hair at the top. Let's get more of his hair at the top. It's kind of nice and curly, almost like dreads in a way. If you think about it, Car in a way was a lot like pop culture in 2000s, obsessed with llamas. You know what? I actually can, you actually can see that. Because it's true, it actually was like for a brief while during that time. Glad you had Thanksgiving. Hey, I'm glad to hear you had a great one too. I had a great one too. Yeah, I had gotten so filled up because one thing about contending like 2 different dinners, like you got dinners, like you end up doubling up on the food. So you do 2 things. Either you end up filling up on the first one and then only eat a little on the second one, or you try to space out where you only try to eat a little bit both. So you still end up full, but you got to just kind of eat a good amount of like both. All right, so let me kind of fill out his glasses here. Let me add little dots for his eyes. Has little eyebrows. And fun fact, Carl Wee's voice actor, Bob Paulson, he's actually gone on record that say that this is actually one of his very favorite characters to voice. And I believe it too, because even on his podcast, Talking Tunes, usually have a bit where whoever voice actor he's got on board and he likes to interview, when they do those skits, when you add certain skits at the very end, they'll use that voice for the most part. He talked with Shin say afterwards, the cartoon characters with Chilean actions. I remember from Wide Eye. Yeah, I might get to them later on. Emperor's New Groove, DeviantArt, Still's Another Story, videos, games, almost everywhere. Yeah, that was really in the time. Funny, a lot of stuff popped up around that time period. And something I forget, DeviantArt actually popped up, like early 2000s, because it really wasn't until like several like years, like I think around like 2000, I think 15, really like 2015 or 14, I think when I tried out for the first time years ago. And funny enough, I think that's cool at a time when people they say it was past its prime, because I remember some say its prime was really like 2009 to 2000 like 15. But even when I was still on there, I still found be very active. All right, let me refine this just a bit. I know his nose kind of curves out a little bit here, so let me bring it down. As far as actually policy, like I'd ever recommend anybody who's in like really voice that to kind of check out, his podcast, Talking Tunes, because he hasn't really done too many new episodes as of lately. I think the last one was a few years ago, but they're always kind of fun to watch. They're not too long. They're very light. They're very fun, and you get a chance to hear, these others just kind of check because they're being more relaxed, and they can just chat about things. But at the same time, it does make you appreciate, kind of the work or really the crap that goes into making, like really memorable characters. Because now it depends, of course, it depends on character's written, but also just the performance the actor actually gives to that character. And with Paulson, he always delivers with every character, that he does. Okay, that looks good. We got add these little dimples, little acne dimples, because of course, he's an adolescent. There we go. Get the other side of the screen. Yeah, now let's get our black pen, kind of refine this a bit more. The cool thing about Carl, he's one of those where it's nerdy and quirky, but it's got a lot of character. So it's honestly not surprising, to see that even years later, like he's probably one of the most popular characters, like still from the show. I'm just thinking out the rims of his glasses. We coat it inside of his eyes. Lumber is actually used to protect sheep in some farms, and used to instantly hate wild dogs, foxes, and anything else like dog, and attacked it. I honestly did not know that. I actually, now the first part I have heard that they used it to protect sheep. That I actually have heard, but the latter part, yeah, that's new. That's the first time hearing about that. And you have I do remember donkeys are often used for the exact same thing. Funny, I think I actually got to see some donkeys in person. I had a few months ago when I did a cruise trip to my family. We actually went to Grand Turk, down in the Caribbean. And as we were kind of traveling around, we actually stopped at the lighthouse that's in the island. And near the island, they have a whole bunch of, in fact, pretty much donkeys pretty much roam the entire island. And honestly, I forgot how big they can get. There's one place I stopped at a while, like, oh God, curb saw him. I got too close to it. Oh yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, because people, yeah, I've heard they got pretty pretty strong hooves. So you really don't want to be on the back end of those if you're not careful. Little dimples here, dimples here. There we go. Let me get his ear on this side. Get the ear on the other. Nice. Very good dragon for Strike. Here we go. That's right. And I'm hearing there's supposed to be another, sequel coming out with Shrek. I think it's Shrek 5. I've lost track. But then we always talk like sequels lately. They all tend to run together. So I always tend to forget every now and then what's coming out, what's not. All right. I think that looks pretty good. All right, so that is Carl. continue on August 11th. So I think what I'll do next, speaking of Uche, I think I'll probably hit on Conchita next. Give me just one moment. I drew it on 11. Oh, that's cool. You would upload it to your account. Go get Conchita. As the reference photo. Give me just one moment. Hang on. All right, here we go. For Conchita, when we start with similar deal, I'm just gonna start with just her head right here with circular shape. That's why I've never really heard of this show. You always mention you find these really neat but obscure finds. I had no idea this show existed. So if I can see here, she's also got really big ears. They kind of flop over just a bit. I see up and down on these on Instagram. That's something I need to get back into really doing more often, is uploading my stuff on Instagram more often. Because weird thing with Instagram is like, it always seems to be really hard to kind of gauge what does well, and what doesn't. Because I know for the longest time, it took me such a long time to really kind of stay following, because like I would get followers, I keep losing them, and it wouldn't really feel like it would raise or really go anywhere. And on top of that, the weird thing is that it would be a lot of times where some artworks that I would do that would do well either on DeviantArt or on Tumblr. All of a sudden, like when I post on Instagram, they really wouldn't do so well at all. And granted, now I'm somewhere at a point where I guess since I got enough followers, like I can actually kind of gauge, what does well and then what doesn't. And I understand, part of that, because I know part of it's algorithm, different tastes in algorithms. Some it's different tastes in demographic. So I get that. It's just that it can take a while to really kind of figure out. Let me get her muzzle right here, and don't worry, I'll get her scarf as well. That kind of wraps around her. Yeah, because pretty much whenever I do upload a lot of my art, like I think DeviantArt's probably the first. Let me see for a moment. Let me make these eyes just a little bit bigger. Hang on. There we go. All right, that looks much better. Because when it comes to posting my art online, like I think DeviantArt's probably the biggest one. I think it maybe Instagram. Then maybe occasionally every now and then Tumblr, even though I don't post as much on there anymore. Then Twitter. I don't really post on Twitter much, but then again, I haven't really gotten too much interaction there. I know there was a brief moment for a while I did post on art. Well, what's the art station? But I really never been make much of a splash there. It's almost kind of intimidating with art station, because I know that was really geared for more professional artists. But I have yet. But I remember doing that for a little while. And there's a new one that I've been using called Artful. Now, granted, it's a much smaller website. It's not as unpopular compared to the others. Even though it's small, I'm actually kind of liking it so far, because it's not as big and busy as say like Instagram or DeviantArt. I've actually heard someone do an analogy not too long ago, whereas DeviantArt and Instagram, it's almost like putting you in a big city, whereas Art Foil is kind of like doing it in a small cottage village. And I think that's a pretty accurate kind of description of it. All right, let me see. Let me see if I can get her scarf here. I'll get it right here. Here we go. And I also got sorry for the technical difficulties with the stream last week. I know I mentioned it during the post, but for some reason our connection had conked out and ended up ending a good couple minutes early. Now, granted, what I did was start back up again. In fact, the second part still can be viewable on my account. There we go. All right, so. We get thing for eyebrows. All right, there we go. So now it's going to refine just a bit. We just get her nose. I know it kind of curves. Nose kind of curves down here. Comes to a little point. It comes out the very top. Let's get her mouth. Let's get her mouth at the bottom here too. And the weird thing is, when my energy conked out, because at first it said you lost connection, but then it appeared to come back on. But even after that, what was strange is that it was still I was still streaming, so it wasn't until like several minutes, well, not several, but a few minutes afterwards, I realized it already stopped. Because I saw, when I brought my homepage, I saw it already finished, even though look, it was still streaming on my end. You get the irises of her eyes. You get her other eye here as well. And so hopefully we won't have that incident happen again today. Hopefully. Let me draw a shape of her head. They come down. They add little scruff marks around her neck. So kind of go down, kind of a swoop. Let's go round out the bottom end here. It's got the inside its mouth. Yeah. I think going to Shay. I think it's from what? I think it was called Wide Eye. And Shay, you said it's like it was a cartoon from Chilling Action. I'm trying to see where is it? Trying to see where is Wide Eye from? Because I've vaguely heard of it, but I just couldn't remember where exactly. Now let me change pens. Give me just one moment. Okay, for this video, apparently Wide Eye, so it's basically a show from the UK, came out through Abby's Home Media. And apparently it's one of the shows they have made. So it's a little more obscure compared to some of these other characters. I tell you, Shay, you always have some really interesting finds. 'Cause I know some of the characters you recommend is like somebody that I hadn't heard in years. Well, I haven't heard from them at all. But they're always really neat finds, though. And Shay, what is your name? Let me check the chat. Conchita the Chinchilla. I just want to make sure I got her full name right. Let me get her scarf. Don't worry, as always, we'll color these in later on. All right, that looks pretty good. Let me just kind of tighten it up around the ears. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. All right, that's good. So now that we got two guests, now we got Conchita, we got Carl. Let me see, what can we do next? Give me just one moment. You know what? I think I know exactly what I'm going to do next. I think for right here, since we already see, I'll draw a cat. And in this case, I'll draw the Cheshire Cat. Specifically, the one from Alice in Wonderland. And so let me go and start the design. Let me start with kind of like almost like bent oval shape for his mouth. Especially since the most prominent part of his face. And also make it sparkle where his eyes are. And also when it comes to like old school Disney characters, this guy's probably one of the few I really like drawing the most when it comes to really old characters, because there's something really fun about his design that I really like working with. We get kind of his plump body. We get his arms. He's probably just resting. Of course, then we get his tail. I think I'll have it curl. So still want to have it curl around just a bit here. There we go. I know Cheshire Wonderland. I do want to characters from that Disney film, The White Rabbit. Oh yeah, I remember him. It's been a while, since I've seen the whole movie itself. It's fun, but it's pretty trippy. And fun fact, apparently back when the movie came out, they actually re-released it in the '60s. And of course, with the '60s being into that whole psychedelic scene, they even they did a lot of the posters. They had that whole psycho effect kind of right off that. That's just an odd thing to really think about. That's what we had to deal with before, like VHS and DVD. Like, if you want to go see a movie again, you had to make sure you caught another showing while it was in theaters, and that was pretty much it. And then, if a movie did really well, you have to wait a couple of years. Let me get a smile here, and of course that's its biggest most notable feature. You have to wait a couple of years until it got re-released again. And I know in Disney case, what they would do is they would release their films about every 4 to 8 years, if I recall. Chubby has a cat named Custard. It's true. I think I remember hearing about Custard. And one of the things they would do is they would re-release, I think, every 4 to 8 years, and people go out to see them because hey, you really couldn't see them anywhere else. That really didn't start changing until around probably it's not 70s, not really says really 80s when they started re-releasing the movies on VHS. What was interesting though, hang on, let me see. I almost forgot his teeth. Because got very unique, uniform, straight rows of teeth. We're gonna get his eyes here in the middle. See, now it looks more like him now. Perfect. But what was interesting, when Disney got into re-releasing stuff on VHS, they were actually surprisingly hesitant to do it. Because apparently, they were afraid, about devaluing their films by making so everybody could view them, because they felt, look, they've always made money being released in theaters, so why would we want to put them on VHS? But of course, finally they realized oh yeah, there's a lot of money you can make putting them on VHS. But even then, it took them a while to do, because first they started with a little more lesser known films. Well, not lesser known films, but films that aren't as popular, like Robin Hood, Sword and Stone. Really more the later stuff that was coming out in the 70s and 80s. And it really went until the very late 80s, early 90s, when they really started putting the classic films on VHS, of course, Snow White, Bambi. But of course, when you had their brand stuff like Aladdin, Little Mermaid, you had those films coming out and making big money. They realized oh yeah, we probably start putting other popular films on there too, and they end up making a killing. Also, let's get his arms right here. Yeah, because I know he's got 4 fingers. There we go. Of course, let me add his stripes. Well, I've had some stripes. I can put more right. I have it on Wonder on Blu-ray and DVD. Oh, nice. I think when I last saw it, saw it on TV years ago. And before that, I came across screen caps online. I was remastered. I gotta say, I don't know how I'm supposed to let Disney do it, but they do a fantastic job when it comes to remastering their old films. So they can always because they still manage to make even their old films that are almost either 50 or plus years old, or almost make them look brand new. Get this at the bottom. Let me add more stripes here. I remember he had a song. I remember there was a lead song that was called I can't remember if it was called I'm Strange, I'm Weird. It was something like that. But what was interesting is they actually got to re-record the whole song. But it was I think the original guy who did it was what was this guy's name that did the original one? Hang on. Where did my black pen go? Uh-oh. Oh, here we go. Put on the wrong cap. And what was interesting, in the song, for the record, they actually of course, they couldn't get the original voice Sterling Holloway to do it because, of course, he passed away years ago. But they did manage to get Jim Cummings to actually do the voice, and he sounded just like him. And what's funny to think about is that just like with Sterling Holloway, because not only Cheshire Cat did Cheshire Cat, he also did Winnie the Pooh, just like and flash forward to the later on when Rita Corston on Jim Cummings, who voiced Cheshire Cat, he also did Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, just cut into the strawberry shortcake. Yeah, I'll just do it on right after because there's one of the character I'm actually gonna do right after this one. Once I'm done with that one, I'll get your suggestion next. Because I know there's one of these a ballet. Now that I do not know about, to be honest. That I'm not really sure about. So let me bring down his mouth a bit more here. Bring it out at the bottom. And get the scruffy parts around on the side of his face. And get his little whiskers. And you see he's got very short, small whiskers. And get his fingers. And fun fact, speaking about some Wonderland, the voice actress who voiced Alice from back in the day, Catherine Bowman, she's actually still living to this day. It's pretty old. I think she's currently, in her 80s, but she's actually still around. In fact, I recall, I think she actually did return to voice Alice several years later for one of the video games Disney released involving Alice. I forgot which one. But yeah, she's probably one of the few voice actors from the probably the golden age of animation, that's still around to this day. So she's a living legend. Let me get his little body here. Fill out the rest of his stripes. All right. All right. Cool. All right, before I move on to yours, there's another one I'm gonna try and get down here, and that is probably another famous C name character. Even though he's more known in comics, he does have his presence on the cartoons as well. I think I'll do a Charlie Brown down here. And of course, his design is very simple because basically his whole circle design is just one big head, one big with small ears, and a big smile, and small tuft of hair. He's getting small, very two dots. his nose in the middle. Be a little bit around his eyes, where his iris is, his eyebrows. No Digital Christmas special came on the other night. I meant to catch again because it's been a while since I've seen it. Yeah, I figured some drawing characters hilarious. See, I figured I couldn't draw characters and not draw this guy. I still to get around and seeing that movie Blue Sky did for Charlie Brown. Cause I've heard that because at least from what I've seen in previews, just little bits that I've seen, it's actually a really famous adaptation of Peanuts. It's one of the best ones they did, and also I just kind of like the animation style. And yes, he does have one. And going back for Snoopy, not for Snoopy, but for Woodchuck when it. Oh, what am I thinking of? What character am I thinking of? Oh, I lost my train of thought for a moment. I know usually when I have that running gag where at the adults on screen where they you don't really hear a voice, use that womp stuff. So apparently what they end up doing, because apparently this in the original too, they actually got a trombone player kind of make those noises. And for this particular case, for the new movie, they actually got a trombone player actually recognized Troy Andrews, who was also known as Trombone Shorty, and he had him do all the noises. And I've actually seen him live a few times. He's actually puts on a really great show. Because not only does he play trombone, he also does trumpet. He can also do drums as well. Oh, let me bring up so you can see it. All right, perfect. Even when I saw him then, he was kind of like a big, up and coming artist. But even since then, he's been played for a lot of different artists. He played for a lot of different soundtracks. And that Charlie Brown movie, it was one of them. Give me just a moment. Switch out pens again. That's running out of ink again. Give me just one moment. Just gonna get Custard down here. Once I'm done with her, there's actually two more that actually got come up right after this that I got planned. So I'll see if I can squeeze her in down here. Because I already got planned over here on this side. Yeah, but I'm glad to hear that everyone here had a really good Thanksgiving, and hope you guys are gonna have a great having a holiday season so far. Because I know usually around this time things can get pretty busy, things can get pretty hectic. Because you're really trying to get things together, you're busy trying to make plans with family. And it can get pretty hectic at times depending on your situation. Like for me, I haven't started on any of my Christmas shopping yet. But I really probably should start, as soon as I can, because of course I know, at least especially here, all the stores will start filling up very soon. People trying to get all their gifts. Then of course, make it ask me check to see see who I'm getting presents to. Got to see what they want. I have to form a list, so it could be a lot. Let me get this off their ears here, because I noticed this person has smaller ears. What's the other thing I was getting ready to mention? Yeah, and over at one of my day jobs where where I work, they have started playing Christmas music. They haven't started playing enough of it though, surprisingly. They just kind of done a mixture of kind of like just mixture their regular like soft rock stuff, and then they mix it in just with some Christmas music. Personally, I don't think they don't do enough. I kind of wish they play a little bit more, Christmas stuff. Really kind of get folks into the spirit. Good designs on her hair. All right, let's kind of refine it. Let's kind of refine this a bit more of our black pen. And thing is, with some of these Christmas music, like some places, depending on where you go, some they'll play a lot of the old school classics, but then there's some where they just play just new stuff. And then you have some stuff where they'll play stuff where they're not technically bad songs, you just get tired of hearing them. Like Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You." Like I know that's their most popular song. I know a lot of people like it, but as someone who's had to hear it constantly, working customers in retail, I just don't need to hear it anymore. Because it isn't. Because that song is everywhere. Because it's not her version. It's the Justin Bieber version. It's the Michael Bublé version. Like you just cannot escape it. And I know one artist I usually always try to see like every now and then whenever he comes in town. Brian Setzer with his orchestra. Yeah, annual every year he would do a show called Brian Setzer Chris Extravaganza. So basically, like for those that don't know Brian Setzer, he used to be guitarist for Stray Cats. But then afterwards, and he played like kind of rockabilly blues music, and he's a guitarist. But afterwards, once that group broke up, when he went on to his own thing, he formed his own orchestra. It's really like a swing band, and they'll do like very like jazzy swing renditions, like renditions of his songs and even Christmas songs too. And I tell you, I've seen him twice, and both times he's put on a really good show. I definitely been. I don't know if he's still touring nowadays because I know last time I went to go see him, they haven't canceled tour because he's got tinnitus. Tonight that's kind of like kind of a hearing problem. So it's one of the things that happens when you get exposed to listening to loud music for a long period of time. It can kind of start damaging your ears. So, oh, just what runs off this town. Yes, I love Stray Cats. Honestly, "Runaway Boys" is probably my top favorite top favorite song by Stray Cats. I think it was the "Runaway Boys," then "Rock This Town," then "Stray Cat Strut." And probably my favorite album, I think they did. Of course, is "Built for Speed." Of course, that's their because that has both their hits, "Rock This Town." Another one that they did that I really like, as far as we don't talk about, is "Blast Off." It was a later one they did, like in like the '89. It didn't have that many hints. I think the only one on there was Gene and Eddie. But I still think it's a great album because like even though they don't have hits, all the songs in there are solid and catchy. God his great music, but also his voice started maturing a lot during this period because it got a little bit deeper, it got a little bit richer. So I love Stray Cats, especially that rockabilly stuff. All right, so I know another one I'm gonna hit next. Do another C name character. Character some of y'all are probably familiar with. Courage. Courage from Cowardly Dog. So I'm actually gonna draw him right up here. So let me start with like a sharp little bean shape. He's got a very bean shaped body. Then he has a spot for where his eyes are. He had his nose. at his mouth. And you can see he's got a fairly simple design. Yeah, I think the only group that I've seen that's getting close to kind of capturing the sound, Stray Cats, is probably because of course I've had a chance to see Stray Cats. It's probably there's another group called Reverend Horton Heat. They're another rock group. They were kind of influenced by that similar sound. They have a slight more aggressive, like harder punk edge to their stuff. But they were great. I've seen them at least twice. Let me bring down his body a little bit more here. Let me bring out the bent part of his mouth. Here comes the courage. This show is probably most kids probably a gateway into like either watching horror or creepy stuff. Because even though the show was usually fairly lighthearted for the most part, it could get very creepy at times. Like that Ramsey's episode, Return the Slob. Lots of really great but also memorable designs. Like it could be creepy, it could be horrifying, but not too much where it would traumatize people. But it was a great show too. And also, fun fact about Courage, apparently his voice actor Marty Garbenstein, he's actually at second job, he's actually a tour guide from New York. And I've actually come across footage of him online. I need to know this show. Oh, trust me, I wasn't planning on adding him. But where was I? Oh yeah, well, with Courage, I've came across pictures of his voice actor, and he's actually a tour guide. And it's funny hearing his voice actor's natural voice talk because he has that really distinct New York accent, and so it's really hard hearing hearing a voice of Courage because he normally has a very like high pitched voice, but it's got this New York accent underneath. And that's the weird thing with some of these voice actors. Like sometimes when you hear their natural speaking voice, you hear a little bit of the characters they're known for, and that's pretty true. With Marty, because you hear a lot of Courage's natural speaking voice. Let me get his nose. And also a fun fact also about Courage. It's kind of an odd fact. Yeah, apparently, for those that remember Courage, he would when he would babble a lot. He would babble on, but churn different things to kind of communicate what he's saying, but he would talk too. And apparently, during the first season, they changed the character so he didn't talk as much in the later things. They felt he talked too much in the first seasons. But it's weird because I actually didn't mind him really talking in the first season. Because one, I can actually like being able to hear what he says. I don't know if he streams in. I'm pretty sure he streams in all of them, but I don't know if he's streaming in all of them. He's definitely streamed in most of them. And one thing I got about Courage, one good thing about audio is that you can actually reuse audio if you need to use it again. Because I can tell you, if Marty had to do all those screams over and over again for every episode, I'm pretty sure he would not have a voice. Yes, it was. And I know that not too long ago they did a crossover special with Scooby-Doo, which I haven't seen yet. I've heard mixed things about it, but I've heard it's all right. But apparently, I heard the best part about it, they actually did get most of the original voice actors back. Because they got Marty Garbenstein's Courage back. I think Fia Vidal, I think that was her name, who voiced Muriel. They got her back. In fact, it was actually one of the last things she actually did before she passed away. I think about a year after they finished it. They didn't get used as bad. Well, I think they get different. For one, both his voice actors had passed away long after the show had ended, so I think he had a different guy in. Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about the show. Like sometimes the main villains, they wouldn't actually be actual villains per se. Usually, antagonist would be either certain feelings, and yet perfection was usually one of them. I know there was another episode I think where they usually couldn't know how to farm, and really the bigger issue was not just the ghoul itself, but also just the fact that he was too stubborn to actually know how to do it, and he ended up having to learn how to do it. So yeah, it would be monster movies. Episodes have a lot of monsters, but they would have like morals and lessons to it as well. Let me see. What am I missing on him? I know there's something on here that I'm missing. Oh, the color in this spot. Yeah, but I know with her thinking the lazy, they didn't talk as much, which I can somewhat understand because with him talking, it does kind of bring the question, if his owners could really understand him or not, because throughout most of the show when he babbles, it's pretty clear like they can't understand him. So that's why he has to do all these like shape shifting kind of deals to kind of communicate his thoughts. But in the early seasons, like you all kind of wonder that can they understand, because there's some episodes where it seems like they can, and other episodes, it really seems like they can't. Yeah, but that was just kind of a weird quick of the show. All right, let me see. And also, so now we're good. So I think now we're done with Courage. I think I'll do another C name character here. I think I'll do, the Cat in the Hat. So I'm actually going to put him right here because I wouldn't have enough room for his hat. I think I'll draw the shape of his hat right here. Just make sure that's nice and long. There we go. Of course, I'm giving him his bow tie. And this guy's pretty much the mascot for everything that is Dr. Seuss. You can see he's got very small eyes. Bring the thing around his mouth. Oh, of course, let me get his ears right here. Let me see if I can refine that just a bit more. Yeah. Let me bring this up and you guys can see I'm basing him more off how he looks in the books. I'm not even gonna try basing him off the that live action. Even though I've seen it in theaters. I remember liking it at the time, like, who am I kidding? I remember even back then I really didn't care for it that much. Because a lot of like adaptations of Doctor Who's stuff, they've always been pretty mixed bags in my opinion. The only ones I think off the top of my head, I think that really caught the feel. Just fine. I know there's Horton Hears a Who, even though that's kind of a mixed bag itself. Because I remember liking that one. And even though it's not my personal favorite, the remake of The Grinch with Jim Carrey. But even though that live action adaptation is a little more faithful than others. But also to my knowledge, I think one of Susan's relatives, I forgot, I can't remember if it was his wife or it was one of his relatives. They pretty much put a cease and desist and really put a stop to all these remakes that were coming out. Let me get his eyes, and of course, his pupils are the very large like C curves. Of course, we get the stripes on his hat. Oh, and also I think the other like pretty faithful adaptation of Duchess is probably that new Greens and Hams thing that's on Netflix. Because not only kind of suggest, because not only and not only expand the story, the animation that show is really good. All right, so let me break it. Let me break out our pen, our other pen again. If you get a chance, like I would recommend if when you look up Dr. Seuss, look at some of his more private work. Yeah, some of his private paintings could be really neat, very trippy, lots of really brilliant colors. It's funny, for a long time I didn't even know he also painted, alongside of just doing these storybooks. But yeah, some of his paintings really were just like amazing to look at because they were still like in his style, but they were a lot more intricate when it comes to colors and detail. Always be coloring the side, from the dark side of his face. We get his eyebrows. All right, that's looking pretty good. Get the bottom portion of his hat. We get the ears. And here I'm going back over everything in with some more colors. And I'm going to color in the stripes of his hat too, just with the rest red pen. Yeah, I know with that show there's a new season that came out not too long ago. I meant to catch up on that. This was really light, kind of fun show, but I just really love how well how good the animation is. Okay, I think we have time and room to fit one more character, and so I'm probably gonna put him right up here. He's gonna fit one of the characters from what used to be one of my favorite shows. Growing up on Nickelodeon back in the day, Fairly Odd Parents. So I'm also gonna draw Cosmo. So he's gonna be a little bit small here. So may take a while to being able to fit him. So there's a large P-shaped head. Let me get his ears. Yeah, because once I finish drawing him, that'll pretty much be the last one I'll be doing for today. Because of course, once I do him, then I'm actually gonna start coloring all these characters in. And of course, gonna get his eyes. Of course, gonna get his mouth. Let me get his thick eyebrows. And of course, his eyes right here. We get his pupils. There we go. So let me get his crown. And we're next to Farm. It's one of the shows, even though it was one of my favorite shows back when I was growing up, you know, it kind of fell off like in the later years. But for a while, it used to be one of the big shows, you know, aside from SpongeBob. Let me get his arms. Let me get his wand. All right, that's good, right? So now it's kind of refined just a bit more. Let's color in the inside of his mouth. Yeah, I'm hearing there's talks about there's a new show coming out. It's a reboot version, which I hope it doesn't really come to fruition because look, show had its run. It already had those 3 live action movies. Already had that little sitcom show that came and went. That's pretty much Thanos from existence now because now you can't really find it anywhere. I say, you know, the show's been good for all it's worth. I think it's time to let it rest. Get some nice eyebrows. We color those in. And it had a good run. I think it came out in 1999 and played I think till 2000. I think 2016. In fact, let me look that up. Let me see when it ended. Because I feel like I remember what year, but I don't want to pull out any false numbers. Oh wow, 2000. Oh, never mind. My mistake. 2001 to July 2017. Why did you? Well, that I'm not really sure. This is honestly my first time about finding. Honestly, you're actually my first time I'm finding out about the show. I honestly really didn't know it was a. Well, you know, I've heard in passing. I honestly really know too much about it until just now. Yeah, but I forgot the show. Fairlight came out back in 2001. That's right, because the pilot episodes they originally came out on the show Oh Yeah Cartoons back in like 1999. There we go. All right, so we got Cosmo. So now I think we got the characters we can draw in for today. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters for today. All right, so now we go on to our fun part. We're actually coloring all these guys in. So put my pencils off to the side. So let me see. Who do I want to start off with? I'll start with our guy Cheshire Cat right here. Now start coloring him in the middle. Yeah, I'm not really sure what Nickelodeon's been up to lately because one, I don't really have cable. I just got mainly to streaming service right now, so I really don't know what they've been up to as of lately. Because for me nowadays, whenever I kind of watch stuff on my television, since I have like a Fire Stick to watch news, I mainly just have I mean, I just have YouTube, I have Hulu, Disney Plus, got a package deal through that. I have access to Netflix through my parents. So like regular cable channels, like I really don't watch those anymore. Which I'm fine because like fine because what I have so far it has everything I need. He's colored inside of his ears. Yeah, I know last I heard, they're on they're doing the whole Patrick Star show, which I've only heard it's okay. Can't tell, and as you can see, like as I'm coloring them, starting fairy line is building up, just kind of a nice even layer. Don't worry, I already know. All right, look at pretty dark. Make this kind of a darker pink shade of pink. Then again, white color inside her tongue here. So now let me color in courage while I'm up here. Now I remember back when Courage right now actually some of y'all who are watching might not remember the show. There used to be a show called What a Cartoon Show. What started as world premiere to Ben King What a Cartoon Show. And basically what it was basically a show where a lot of either old or even up, but mainly like upcoming artists could actually could show their own pilots. And they were lucky some of those pilots could turn to shows. And in this case, I forgot his name. I think it was John Dillowitz. I think that was his name. He did his pilot episode for Courage. It was Chickens from Outer Space. And that ended up being one of the very first of the main shows that ended up getting spawned off from that show because Courage Cowboy was one of them. Dexter's Lab, It Got Start for his show. Powerpuff Girls, Cow and Chicken. Yeah, all four of those shows ended up being really big hits for the channel. They all got started, through What a Cartoon Show. And it's surprising that the show doesn't really get talked about much nowadays because this really is an important part of hit this channel's history because so many shows like Spider shows, so many public creators who didn't even make stuff even got started. Like even for example, like Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy, even though he never did anything for Cartoon Network, when he was doing one of his early guys for Family Guy called Larry and Steve, he did his pilot episode through What a Cartoon Show. So it was a real like jumping off point for a lot of different artists. I've heard of Capitol Critters. I don't know if it did. I do remember I think it aired on prime time years ago. I know it didn't really last long because I think it came out around the same time Simpsons came out, and they were trying to make sure they had slightly more edge or humor, but it didn't really last all that long. I don't know if it ever really aired on Cartoon Network, to be honest. Sharpness of the pencil. We color in Carl's hair. But I remember it was also kind of a brief thing for a while when Simpsons got big. Like, you had other cartoons trying to come out to air on a prom show that were trying to be a little more edgy since, but they never either got hit the mark just right because I think the Capra Creation, a few bits I've seen, like it wasn't a bad show, but still had a lot of those sensibilities of a Saturday morning cartoon. And I guess for folks of prime who are used to prime time watching stuff that's a little more adult, they really weren't gelling with that at the time. You get his eyebrows, you get those looking good. There we go. We get a different pen. We get break the peach out again. Yeah, I don't think it aired, but that's the thing, with cartoon. There have been so many shows that have aired on there in the past. Like, some of it's hard to keep track. They've had old shows, new shows that had a long period. Shows that only aired probably for a season. They ended up on there. In fact, let me look that up real quick. Let me see. Little critter. I stand corrected. It says according to Wikipedia, current later aired all 13 episodes, including the unaired episodes from 1995 through 1996. Okay, that's why I don't remember. They only aired it for a brief period during the 90s. That's why. Nice. Yeah, 95, I think. I was probably like a toddler at that point. Oh, yeah, so no wonder I don't remember ever being on that channel. Care Bears, I think I've seen them a few times. Never really got into them, but I think I've seen them a few times. I think they did air on Cartoon Network as well. But yeah, they would have so many different shows that would air on Cartoon Network. And just like with Capitol Cruise, like that was one of them where they had they aired on for a brief stint, and they just got disappeared. But from the brief bits I've seen, and just from the reviews I've seen online, like it was a show that never really kind of found like its groove. Because even though like it's still at the Saturday morning cartoon sensibility, it still did cover like really serious topics. And at best, I've heard people describe it as like a whole like Ralph Bakshi cartoon, but with more toned down sensibilities. Shame it didn't last that long because look, it had really great potential to really be amazing. Bedtime Bear and Share Bear. For my only familiarity, is probably really just Nostalgia Critic, because I remember all those crazy reviews he would do, and he reviewed all of their movies. Let's go ahead and Cosmo here while we're at it. It's just crazy to think, with this show, Fairly Odd Parents, like how start off as one, as far as like a humble pilot episode, and becoming one of like the biggest like shows, right behind SpongeBob for one brief moment. And that's the weird thing with some shows. You have some shows you think are actually going to be a hit, and they don't. Then you have some shows that you don't think are really going to be a hit, and they actually do. And it's funny like that, but it happens. That looks pretty good. All right, so let me see what color I can break out next. Here we go. This is actually the color I was looking for earlier. Let me use cameras. Because I'll be honest, since that's a little after my time, I never really got into them all that much. So I'm not really as familiar with or really got into them, to be honest. But I have no problem with others that do. So let me get around his ears. Let me do the rest of his stripes here. I think I lost my train of thought. Let me see what color I'm going to use next right after this. Go. Let me color him just a brief more. Let me sharpen this a bit more. I know in some Caesar movies it's really more purple than magenta, but I think magenta looks better on him here. Dear class, no, I do not. I do not. I do not. Let me see. That's looking pretty good. There we go. All right, perfect. Just color inside her mouth here. Then use the color of his glasses here. I know his glasses aren't really purple, but I think it'll look nice on him. Yeah, I don't really have the colors. I know I've seen them in stores here and there from time to time. Get the inside of his mouth here. Get the inside of his mouth. Color inside of his mouth here. There we go. And I'll use a mixture of blue and gray here. So let's do a light layer of both colors here. As once I'm done with this, go to some of that blue, and the lilac going back over with some of the gray. Let me sharpen this. Chair is great. Let me sharpen this real quick. So I like to keep the sharpener on standby because you never know when you'll need it. Color that in. Color in her eyes. There we go. Let me just get a knife. Make sure it's a little more sharper around her mouth. There we go. There we go. Let's see what color I can use next. Oh yeah, green. Actually, no, I can use the yellow. Get that out the way. Cosmo's one. And crown. Part of the scarf. Yeah, of all the colors I pick, I try to use ones that I can use all across the board. That one's kind of move around, move on to the next thing. Just a moment. I forgot to use pink on the bottom here for custard. Give me just a moment. Let me go and fill her in real quick. And in a little bit, once I'm done coloring this all in, I'm actually going to show you something else I actually been working on for the past couple of days. It's actually I don't like this is not a duo. It's actually kind of an ongoing project I started to kind of celebrate reaching 100 watchers on DeviantArt. So you guys will get a chance to get a peek of that like later on once the stream is done. Well, almost done really. There we go. Now where's the color I was gonna use next? Where's the green? Here we go. Here we go. And I'm just gonna be very light in coloring him in. And like I always say, always try to start light, kind of work your way and get heavier as you go further in. Here we go, that looks good. Let me get the eyes in the middle. Here we go. Let's see which one to use next. Oh, of course, red. Oh, it's not the one I want to use. Let's see, red. Here we go. Let's get his bow. And I look like I did mention some of my other posts in the past. I do plan on actually doing like other streams like either during weekday or weekends. Unfortunately, I haven't really picked out a day just yet where I want to do like a weekday one just yet. Because the other thing is, even when I do these, if I decide to do weekdays, I want to make sure I plan those in advance as well. So that way I can give you guys time to really prepare for it. And also, if I do a letter of the day, that way I'll be notified when it's actually time for it. Let's get this part of the scarf here. Get it right here. Get part of the bow tie or bow at the bottom. We're almost done. Oh yeah, almost forgot a few things. Got to color in Cheshire Cat's eyes. And that'll be the thing that'll happen. Sometimes you think you're done, there'll be a few other things that'll pop out at you. color in the back, color Cosmo's body here. Let me just add a thicker outline around our C. All right, I think we're looking pretty good here for all the characters. So we managed to get about 7 of these done today. So I'm glad you guys like these. Now, give me just a few moments. Let me show you the other thing I've been working on for these past couple of days. Yeah, one more thing. Let me almost forgot to get the last part of his scarf. Yeah, I'm glad I did. Glad I didn't notice that right away. So let me get that in. There we go. Okay, cool. And we are just about done here. But before I go, let me show you what I've been working on. So for this big thing I'm doing to celebrate my 100 watch on DeviantArt, I'm working on this thing called crowd control. So it's our piece I'm doing where it's actually going to feature a lot of different characters. And you can see it's like a one crazy concert scene. So you'll see it's like you see a lot of folks having fun, having a good time. Stage having people crowd surfing. And you see it's gonna be a pretty involved piece. It's actually a two-parter because there's the first part of it here, and the second part of it's gonna be right here. And then once I draw these together, I'm actually gonna tape them together. And I think what I'm able to do, I'll actually scan them both, scan them in and color them in digitally. And so yeah, it's something I've been meaning to do for like a long time. But now, so right now it's kind of perfect time to actually go ahead and do it. And it took a lot of like pre-plan beforehand because you just get an idea. You have to do a lot of like research. Like so far, like this is one of the older sketches I did for just kind of map out how the whole thing's gonna look like. Because one thing I do with bigger drawings that I always try to sketch out like what it's gonna look like, just to get an idea what the composition will look before I start sketching out for real and actually start doing the real thing. And like here, like I'll start here, I'll do little notes here, what character I'm gonna have here and there. And it gets very valuable when it gets to the real thing because when it gets time to actually doing the actual sketch itself, I really don't want to do it too much like too much figuring out. Because I could do like on the pre-sketching phase. Because of course that when you get the pre-sketching phase, that won't have to do as much erasing. When I get time to actually think, because at that point I can start sketching out my character and I can start inking them in from there. So that's what I got going on from that. So when I get a chance, I'll keep you all updated on how that's coming along. And so I think we are good for today. And so, guys, I hope you guys had a wonderful, enjoy the stream. I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope you guys continue to have a wonderful, holiday season. I hope to see you guys again around the same time next week. And that's it. Have a great day.